We live in a time where Bible prophecies are fulfilling right before our eyes. Recent historical discoveries are a seal to the fact that Jesus Christ once walked the face of the earth. One such discovery is the Pool of Siloam. Israel Antiquities Authority announced on Tuesday that Jerusalem's ancient Pool of Siloam will be excavated extensively, then opened to the public. What is the Pool of Siloam? What is the significance of the Pool of Siloam? Is this an unveiling of the Third Temple ritual bath location? Hello, and welcome to my channel. Before we begin, I would like to invite you to join the family by becoming a subscriber today. Here we share Bible insight on end-time happenings around the world. Subscribing will help our videos to reach a wider audience, announcing the return of the Lord. Thank you. The Israel Antiquities Authority announced on Tuesday that Jerusalem's ancient Pool of Siloam will be excavated extensively, then opened to the public. If you are a Christian, this is really an interesting development, because this pool has a lot of significance to the Christian community. The pool was first constructed some 2,700 years ago, as part of Jerusalem's water system in the 8th century BCE, during the reign of King Hezekiah. This is described in the Bible in the book of 2 Kings 20 verse 20. The Pool of Siloam, located in the southern portion of the city of David and within the area of the Jerusalem Walls National Park, is an archaeological and historical site of national and international significance. In John chapter 9 verses 1 to 12, Jesus healed a man who was born blind. The account records that Jesus spit on the ground and made some mud with the saliva. He then put the mud of the man's eyes and asked him to go wash at the Pool of Siloam. I believe that Jesus intentionally chose the Pool of Siloam because it was a key purification place, and multitudes of people were likely present to witness the miracle. 2,000 years ago, in the Second Temple era, the Pool of Siloam was the starting point for pilgrims who made the annual pilgrimage to Jerusalem to celebrate Jewish holy festivals like the Passover, Feast of Tabernacles, Pentecost, etc. The Pool of Siloam was used by pilgrims for ritual purification before they ascended by foot to the inner court of the Temple Mount to bring an offertory to the temple court. According to Josephus, a historian who lived during the time of Christ, up to 1 million Jews would make pilgrimages to Jerusalem during these holy festivals. Purification was required before Jews could enter the Temple Mount to make sacrifices. However, these sacrifices can no longer be offered since the destruction of the Second Temple. According to the Temple Institute, 202 out of the 613 commandments in the Torah cannot be performed without a temple. It's worth mentioning that the destruction of the temple was prophesied by prophet Daniel, that the Messiah would be cut off before the temple is destroyed. After the 62 weeks, the Messiah will be cut off and have nothing, and the people of the prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. And its end will come with a flood. Even to the end there will be war. Desolations are determined. Daniel 9:26. This prophecy was fulfilled in AD 70 with the destruction of the temple, just 40 years after Jesus Christ was crucified. I believe that the public opening of the Pool of Siloam is connected to the building of the Third Temple. Possibly, this is where modern-day pilgrims will partake in the ritual bath before proceeding to the Third Temple. The Hebrew prophets all proclaimed that in the last days, the exiles of Israel would return to the Promised Land and that the temple would be rebuilt. The stage has been set for the rebuilding of the Third Temple to facilitate the reinstitution of sacrifices in Jerusalem. You may ask, why does this really matter? Firstly, this solidifies your faith in Jesus, knowing that the gospel you believe in is true. It is verifiable that he was on earth, he walked the earth, and he performed miracles at historical sites. Many people, especially in the atheist community, are constantly seeking evidence that the God we preach about is real because they find the concept of God to be improbable or unbelievable. It is my prayer that one of these pieces of evidence will lead them to find the truth. Secondly, the building of the Third Temple points to the end of times. Currently, the building of a Third Temple is one of the hottest end-time prophecies. It is a major topic in New Testament Bible prophecy. All of the Hebrew prophets predicted that in the last days Israel's exiles would return to the Promised Land and restore the temple. Ezekiel 37:28 predicts, "Then the nations will know that I the Lord make Israel holy, when my sanctuary is among them forever." It is predicted in the Bible that a third Jewish temple will be built on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, causing controversy throughout the world. As temple sacrifices begin, the Antichrist will use outrage to bring hatred against the state of Israel. Taking advantage of this hatred and the conflict in the Middle East, the Antichrist will lead a war of invasion to take control of the third temple and establish a demonic desolation there. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3-4. Indeed, we live in an interesting time. If you are someone contemplating whether believing in God is worthwhile, this video is for you. What makes Jesus so special? Buddhism, Muhammad, Confucius, and Moses, among other world religions, all identified themselves as teachers or prophets. They never claimed to be equal to God. Surprisingly, Jesus did. That's what separates Jesus from the rest. Though he talked about his Father in heaven, it was not from the position of separation, but a very close union, unique to all humankind. The Lord said anyone who saw him had seen the Father, and anyone who believed in him believed in the Father as well. He said, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in darkness. He claimed attributes belonging only to God, to be able to forgive people of their sin, free them from habits of sin, give people a more abundant life, and give them eternal life in heaven. Unlike other teachers who focus people on their words, Jesus pointed people to himself. He did not say, follow my words and you will find truth. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father, but through me. Jesus accomplished what people are unable to accomplish. Jesus performed miracles. He healed people, blind, crippled, deaf, even raised a couple of people from the dead. He had power over objects, created food out of thin air, enough to feed crowds of several thousand people. Today, that same Jesus is calling you into a divine relationship with him.